Very difficult battles are now taking place on the front lines of the Ukrainian-Russian war. The Kremlin command is pulling together all of its reserves and attacking along the entire front line to break the Ukrainian resistance, even before President Donald Trump takes full power. Russian military commanders are sending whole brigades of Russian soldiers to launch meaty assaults, sparing neither their own nor North Korean soldiers' lives. Ukrainian soldiers, risking their own lives, are fighting against the invaders to defend their land and their nation. Today, I will show you real battles from the last week, how the Ukrainian military destroyed the Russian invaders and their equipment. I'm Hustler. Let's get started. The video begins with 2 Russian tanks being targeted by Ukrainian drones. The first kamikaze drone flew into the hatch of the tank, causing it to catch fire. Then, to completely destroy the tank, a shell was dropped on it from above. The Russian tank turned into burnt metal scrap. And the next tank is being pelted with shells from a drone. The tank was successfully burned. The Russian armored personnel carrier brought the assault group and immediately came under attack by a Ukrainian kamikaze drone. The first strike was very powerful. You can see pieces of metal flying off the armored vehicle. Another drone hit the hatch of an armored personnel carrier and completely destroyed it. Ukrainian town of Kurakov. Ukrainian armed forces destroy Russian drone hub. Russian T-80 tank. They also started hunting for Russian soldiers. Targeted attack on Russian heavy armored vehicles, and now you can see how a stupid situation happened to the Russians. A Russian tank was traveling down the road and overturned into a ditch. The Ukrainian operator of the kamikaze drone seized the moment, made 2 targeted strikes, and neutralized the tank. And here is another Russian multi-purpose towing vehicle, light-armored MTLB. After the first hit, the Russian soldiers abandoned the vehicle and began to flee. The Ukrainian drone operator decided to destroy the equipment to the end and struck a decisive blow. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone spots 2 occupiers looking for a place to hide. They find an old basement. Unaware that they are being followed, they hide there. This is a tempting target for the Ukrainian drone, and it heads there. After the strike, the building collapses, but the Russian soldiers manage to survive. They flee to an old house, but even there, they are attacked by Ukrainian drones. The first hit was not very successful. Then the drone operator delivers another blow, which becomes the last one. He destroys and burns the house with the occupiers. Here, the Russian occupiers in a T-80 tank hit a mine and damaged the track. After that, a Ukrainian drone hit the tank's hatch directly. This caused an explosive reaction. The tank caught fire and turned into hot scrap metal. Another Russian T-80 tank was abandoned by the Russians. Ukrainian drone operators are destroying it to prevent the occupiers from using it again. Russian logistics transport is also an important target for Ukrainian drones. Destroying Russian logistics makes it impossible to supply the occupiers with food, ammunition, and other equipment. Here, a Ukrainian kamikaze drone destroys a Russian bukhanka. Another destruction of the Russian bukhanka. Here the Russian occupier tried to jump out of the vehicle before colliding with the drone. Here, a Ukrainian kamikaze drone operator discovered a fully operational Russian T-80BM tank standing in the middle of the field. Most likely, the occupiers ran out of fuel and left it here. In order to prevent the occupiers from using it again, a targeted strike was made, which caused the tank to catch fire and then explode. The tank's turret was torn off by the blast. Kharkiv direction. During the clearing of the village, Ukrainian troops captured 3 Russian soldiers. The Ukrainian military made it clear to the occupiers that if they wanted to live, they had to leave the building with their hands up and without weapons and slowly move towards the Ukrainian soldiers. Only 3 Russian soldiers fulfilled the order. All the others who did not want to surrender and were sitting in the house were liquidated by 2 tank shots. Russian soldiers had a chance to save their lives, but they did not use it. During their offensive attempts, Russian occupants often hit Ukrainian mines. Roads and fields mined by Ukrainians become an unexpected surprise for Russian assault groups and heavy artillery. Russian armored vehicle with infantry hits a mine and loses control of the vehicle. 2 more Russian armored personnel carriers run into minefields, then catch fire and burn completely. A Russian self-propelled artillery unit hits a mine, explodes, and then starts burning. Three Russian armored personnel carriers traveling along the same road where their other brigades recently exploded also hit mines. Russian light armored vehicle hits 2 mines at once and detonates. A Ukrainian kamikaze drone is chasing a new Russian T-90M tank, an MTLB multi-purpose towing vehicle light armored. Target successfully neutralized. Another Russian armored vehicle being pursued by Ukrainian kamikaze drone pilots. The Russian occupiers noticed that the drone was hunting them and decided to hide under the bridge and wait for it to stop, but they failed. The drone delivered a precise strike that neutralized the occupiers. The Russian occupier, looking for a safe hiding place, decided to hide in the basement of a building. Not expecting to be watched by a Ukrainian drone, he climbed into the basement, and a few minutes later, a Ukrainian drone arrived with a shell and dropped a bomb directly on the target. War is a great evil that kills hundreds of thousands of people. Russians must stop going to Ukraine in search of their deaths. They must destroy the center of evil, dictator Putin, to save their lives. Thank you, friends. Subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with the latest developments. This video is based on the materials of Hustler. See you soon.